Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. So today is this the simile of the snake. It's a Alagaddūpama suttas, and it's a very long suttas. So, but some of them, you can see it's a lot of repetition. They repeat again and again. So if they repeat one, I will go through a little bit faster. Because it's a quite a long suttas, but it's a very quite deep. And suttas is very good. They talk about non-self, and they also have this non-self, and this is I find this is a very good suttas, and it's also it's very deep. So I'm going to start reading. Okay. Thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was living at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's park. Now, on that occasion, a pernicious view has arisen in a bhikkhu named Arita. This pernicious view is not only that it's a wrong view, but it's also a dangerous view. Someone have this kind of views is really dangerous. For formerly of vulture killers, thus, as I understand, he said that, as I understand the Dhamma taught by the Blessed One, those things called obstruction by the Blessed One are not able to obstruct one who engage in those. It's basically, it just said that, like you indulge in the sensory pleasure, you will not attach to that. As long as you're mindful, you're mindfully doing it, you will not attach. Or drugs, you're mindfully taking drugs, you will not addicted to the drugs, And this is what he said. He said that those called obstruction by the Blessed One are not able to obstruct one who engage in them. Several bhikkhus, having heard about this, went to the bhikkhu Arita and asked him, "Friend Arita, is it true that such a pernicious view has arisen in you?" "Exactly so, friends. As I understand, the Dhamma taught by the Blessed One, those things called obstruction by the Blessed One are not able to obstruct one who engage in them." Then these bhikkhus, desiring to detach him from that pernicious view, press, questions, and cross-questions him thus, "Friend Arita, do not say so. Do not misrepresent the Blessed One. It is no good to misrepresent the Blessed One. The Blessed One would not speak thus. In many ways, the Blessed One has stated how obstructive things are, obstruction, and how they are able to obstruct one who engage in them. The Blessed One has stated such sensual pleasure provide little gratification, much suffering and despair, and that danger in them is still more. Then he give all the example of a simile of the skeleton, and basically all this simile is about that they give you a little bit of gratification, but afterwards, you suffer more. So he give the simile of the skeleton. Actually, this is more like the bones, with a little bit of flesh, that bit of smell. Then you keep eating it, but you have give you some taste, some gratification, but you do not feel your stomach, just because it's just the taste, the bone. This is what they give you little gratification. Then afterward, you're so hungry, you'll be disappointed. And also the simile of a piece of meat, and then with the simile of the grass torch. The grass torch is like, you're holding the torch, and then eventually when the wind blow, and will burn your face. Things like, it looks good or it's attractive or things like, but then eventually it's also, give you some gratification. Basically, all the similes is, all these similes is try to explain, to illustrate that actually all these, when you indulge in those sensory pleasure, that especially with the senses, that give you very little gratification. Afterwards, you suffer more, and then you'll be disappointed because it won't last, because it won't last. It's just very fleeting. And with the simile of the pit of coals, it means that, like it's just like some things look appealing at the first glance, but actually when you touch it, it's hot, like the coal, hot coal, you touch it, it will burn your hand. And the similes of the dream is just like a dream, when you wake up, nothing there. Sometimes you have a nice dream, you want it to stay longer, then suddenly someone wake you up, I want to continue with the dream, And basically, this all simile is just the Buddha give this simile is try to explain that, that indulge in that, all those sensory pleasure, that they are very, very fleeting. They give you very little gratification, but eventually also will cause you more suffering. And also the simile of borrowed goods is just like you borrow, like it's just like you borrow money from the bank and then you have to pay interest. Like this is like it's just like all the desires. We indulge in our sensory pleasure. Then afterwards, actually, because this kind of desires, chasing after things, are indulging in our sensory pleasure. Normally, sometimes that drains a lot of mental energy. Afterwards you feel tired. Then actually you suffer more. That's like you have to pay interest. You borrow things, you have to pay back. That kind of gratification that you have to pay back later, then you suffer more. And then with the simile of fruits on the tree, this is like this simile of the fruit of trees. There's a story of the kings, that he is coming. He is after a battle, come back with the soldiers. Then he saw two mango trees. One with lots of fruit, the other one no fruit at all. Then he was thinking, I'm going to have this mango, but I go back, have a shower, I come back, I will have it. So the king went back, to the palace, and then of course the soldier followed him. See, they already started taking all the mangoes, from the mango tree. And then when the king, after he's changing, after having shower, after he feel really refreshed, he go back, and no more mango left. All the branches, the twigs, everywhere, And then this is something like things that you crave for, you want other people also eyeing, You happy, people also want to have it, The same thing. Then you also suffer, And that's basically like, it's just all this simile, because some of them I didn't really take the effort to really go through each of the, to find out each of the simile. Like this one, I don't know, butcher knife and the block with the simile of the sword stick, and the simile of the snake head. The blessed one, the snake heads, we're going to explain afterwards, the simile of the snake. And the Blessed One has stated that sensual pleasure provide little gratification, much suffering and despair, and that the danger in them is still more. Then sometimes the danger in them is still more than the gratification. Yet, although pressed and questions and cross-questions by those bhikkhus in this way, the bhikkhu Arita, formerly of the vulture killer, still obstinately adhere to that pernicious view and continue to insist upon it. Since the bhikkhus were unable to detach him from that pernicious view, they went to the Blessed One, and after paying homage to him, they sat down at one side and told him all that had occurred. Adding, Venerable Sir, since we could not detach the bhikkhu Arita, formerly of vulture killers, from this pernicious view, we have reported this matter to the Blessed One. Then the Blessed One addressed a certain bhikkhu, thus, come, bhikkhu, tell the bhikkhu Arita, formerly the vulture killers, in my name, that the teachers call him. Yes, Venerable Sir, he replied. And he went to the bhikkhu Arita and told him, the teachers calls you friend Arita. Yes, friend, he replied. And he went to the Blessed One, and after paying homage to him and sat down at one side, the Blessed One then asked him, Arita, is it true that the following pernicious view has arisen in you? As I understand the Dhamma taught by the Blessed One, those things called obstruction by the Blessed One are not able to obstruct one who engages in them. Exactly so, Venerable Sir. As I understand the Dharma taught by the Blessed One, those things called obstruction by the Blessed One are not able to obstruct one who engage in them. Misguided man, to whom have you ever known me to teach the Dharma in that way? Misguided man, have I not stated in many ways how obstructive things are obstruction and how they are able to obstruct one who engages in them? I have stated that sensual pleasure provide little gratification, much suffering and despair, and that danger in them is still more. With the simile of the skeleton, with the simile of the piece of meat, with the simile of the grass torch, with the simile of the piece of coals, and with the simile of the dream, with the simile of the borrowed goods, and with the similes of fruits on trees, and with the simile of the butchered knives and block, and with the simile of the sword sticks, and with the simile of the snake's head. And I have stated that sensual pleasure provides little gratification, much suffering, despair, and that the danger in them is still more. But you misguided man, by how wrong grasps that have misrepresented us, injured yourself, and store up much demerit, for this will lead to your harm and suffering for a long time. Then the Blessed One addressed the bhikkhu thus: Bhikkhu, what do you think? Has this bhikkhu Arita, formerly of the vulture, curious, kindle even a spark of wisdom in this Dharma and discipline? How could he be when person? No, when person. That's when he said, not even a spark of wisdom in this, how he understand in this Dharma and this discipline. When this was said, the bhikkhu Arita, formerly of the vulture killer, sat silent, dismayed, with shoulder drooping and head down, glum and without response. And then, knowing this, the Blessed One told him, misguided man, you will be recognized by your own pernicious view. I shall question the bhikkhus on this matter. Then the Blessed One addressed the bhikkhus thus: Bhikkhus, do you understand the Dharma taught by me as this bhikkhu Arita, formerly of the vulture killer, when by his wrong grasp of his misrepresents us, injures himself and store up much demerits? No, Venerable Sir. In many ways, the Blessed One has stated how obstructive things, you see how it's just repeating itself again, okay? Because in the olden days, they don't have books, they don't have this, they have to repeat things so that they can remember. So I just go through very fast, okay? And that they are able to obstruct one who engage in them. The Blessed One has stated that sensual pleasure provide little gratification, much suffering, despair, and that danger in them is still more. With the simile of the skeleton, with the simile of the snake head, with the and so on. So the Blessed One has stated that danger in them is still more. Good, because it is good that to understand the Dharma taught by me thus. In many ways, I have stated how obstructive things are obstruction and how they are able to obstruct one who engage in them. I have stated that sensual pleasure provide little gratification, much suffering and despair, and that the danger in them is still more. With the simile of the skeleton, the simile of the snake, and I stated that the danger in them is still more. But this because a written formally of the vulture killers by his wrong grasp misrepresents us, injures himself, and store up much demerits. For this will lead to this misguided man harm and suffering for a long time, because they have this wrong view, the wrong understanding of the Buddha's teaching. That's why when you don't have the right understanding, you will go the opposite way. Instead of you're heading the right direction, because you have the misunderstanding, you will go the opposite way. Because that one can engage in sensual pleasure without sensual desire, without perception of sensual desire, without thoughts of sensual desire, that is impossible. I remember when many years ago when I was in Thailand, so every Uposatha, we normally have discussion, with the monks, Then we how to make the mind peaceful and things like that. And then after all this discussion, and then this one guy, and I asked these questions, after all this, he basically the question is asked that I have to go back to the world. How can I mindfully engage, to be able to enjoy all the sensual pleasure? with mindfully, without attached to that. It's impossible, isn't it? And then if you want to have the peace and calm, then on the other hand, you want to go enjoy, you want to go and dancing, drinking, everything. Can you, after doing that, you come back, you think your mind can become peaceful? You can't, isn't it? So it's impossible. But somehow people still want everything. They want the peace, they come, they still want the enjoyment. But you just have to choose one or the another. So basically the Buddha said it's impossible that don't give you the peace and calm if you want to engage in all this sensual pleasure. That only leads you to more agitation, isn't it? Your mind, all your desires, and that will not give you, your mind will not become peaceful. It's impossible. You can't have that and at the same time you become peaceful. It's impossible. But that's, of course, it's ideally some people think that they can, They want to attain enlightenment at the same time they still want to have all the sensual pleasure, or enjoy all the things, or drinking, or whatever, a sensual pleasure, and then you want to have a peaceful mind. It's impossible. So then this is, it start with the simile of the snake. Here, because some misguided men learn the Dharma, discourse, stanzas, expositions, verses, exclamations, saying bird stories, marvels, and answer to questions by having learned the Dharma, they do not examine the meaning of those teachings with wisdom. So, not examine the meaning of those teachings with wisdom, they do not gain a reflective acceptance of them. Instead, they learn the Dharma only for the sake of criticizing others, for winning in debates, and they do not experience the good for the sake of which they learn the Dharma. Those teachings, being wrongly grasped by them, conduce to their harm and suffering for a long time. Why is that? Because the wrong grasp of those teachings. Because you have the right understanding. The Buddha said, the reason why you learn the Dharma is not because you learn the Dharma so that you're very good at debating, telling people, you can pull out, the Buddha said, in this suttas, the Buddha said that, the Buddha said that. And you do it for the sake of only, that you remember lots of these suttas. And actually, we read suttas, actually we have to have the deep understanding. So I know some people, last time I met one lady, the way she reads it, it's like a storybook, And then we have tea time. She's holding it, and with tea and read. I said, "Are you going to have an examination?" I asked her to text you all the. You have to memorize all the suttas. I said, "It's no meaning. It's like a parrot, isn't it? You can repeat whatever they said, but do you really understand the meaning?" But sometimes you do not. Sometimes you have. Sometimes for me, it's like even one passage. Sometimes when I read the suttas, only I go through just one passage, and that can really struck me. Then I reflect, this is, and you have the deeper understanding, but not just, it's just the words, and then this is they said, the Buddha said, you have to understand that, the understanding of the Dharma is not for you to boost up, not for us to boost up our own ego, so that you can debate, you can tell people how much you know. I've been studying suttas, I know all the suttas, and arguing and debating with people is not for their sake. So then, if you do that, it's for their sake, and then actually, this is the wrong grasp of that teaching. So you're missing the point. So suppose a man needing a snake, seeking a snake, wandering in search of snake, saw a large snake and grasped its coils and its tail, and it would turn back on him and bite his hand, or that sensual pleasure provide, is here, or is his arm or one of his limbs. Like, if you grasp the wrong place, instead you grasp the coils or the tail, it will turn back and bite his arm or his limb. And because of that, he would come to death and deadly suffering. Why is that? Because the wrong grasp set of the snake. So too, here some misguided men learn the Dharma. Why is that? Because of the wrong grasp of those things, those teachings. Here, because some class clansmen learn the Dharma discourse, answer to questions, and having learned the Dharma, they examine the meaning of those teachings with wisdom. Examining the meaning of those teachings with wisdom, they gain reflective acceptance of them. They do not learn the Dharma for the sake of criticizing others and for winning in debates, and they experience the good for the sake of which they learn the Dharma. Those teachings bring rightly grasped by them, conduce to the welfare and happiness, and for a long time. Why is that? Because the right grasp of this teaching. Suppose a man eating a snake, seeking a snake, wandering in search of snake, saw a large snake and caught it rightly at the cliff stick, and having done so, grabs it rightly by the neck. Then, although the snake might wrap the coils and round his hand or his arm or his limbs, still he would not come to death or deadly suffer because of that. Why is that? Because he right grabs of the snake. So too, here some clansmen learn the Dharma. Why is that? Because of the right grabs of those teachings. You know, if you grab the snake at the neck, that is the place that you cannot turn around. They will not come around to beat you. That's why we have the right understanding. Sometimes people grab the wrong, that's not the right place, So he's the right grasp of those teachings. And therefore, sometimes like, for example, like, people hear so much about letting go, then they think, I'm let go everything. So then let go, then I really come across people, they say, because the Buddha said let go, living present moment awareness. So I stop my job, and then how are you going to, earn your living? I live in present moment awareness, Hey, you think you live in present moment awareness, the food will drop from the sky. And that is that they have the wrong understanding. This is not what the Buddhas really mean, letting go doesn't mean that you get rid of everything you're letting go. Because sometimes the attachment that, like people have the wrong understanding. I want to let go. I want to let go of my children, so I have to ask my children to move out from the house so that I don't attach to them. That they have this wrong understanding. Actually, it doesn't really mean that. And then these persons say, I live in present moment. I just live in present moment. So I just not finding job. But then, how are you going to live your life? Even the Buddha's give teaching, like to the lay people, the Buddha also said how, you work the saving, like one portion, you save it for when you lose a job, you still have, and some you do dana and things like that, you still have to, And then, you see, sometimes people think that, I just sit there, that everything that, actually it's not. Actually, they're not really letting go. It becomes like couldn't care less. Everything couldn't care less. So therefore, because when you understand the meaning of my statement, remember it accordingly. And when you do not understand the meaning of my statements, then ask either me about it or those people who are wise. If you don't understand, please ask, like the Buddha said. Not just assume, you just ask. Then if you don't quite understand the meaning, or if the teacher is not there, you ask someone is wiser, some bhikkhus are wise, you ask them the meaning. Because I shall show you how the Dharma is similar to a raft, being for the purpose of crossing over, not for the purpose of grasping. Listen and attend closely to what I shall say. Yes, Venerable Sir. The bhikkhus replied, because suppose a man in the course of a journey saw a great expanse of water, whose near shore was dangerous and fearful, and whose further shores was safe and free from fear, but there was no ferry boat or bridge for going to the far shore. Then he thought, there is a great expanse of water, and whose near shore is dangerous and fearful, and whose further shore is safe and free from fear. but there is no ferry boat or bridge for going to the far shore. Suppose I collect grass, twigs, branches, and leaves and bind them together into a raft. And supported by the raft and making an effort with my hands and feet, I got safely across the far shore. And then the man collected grass, twigs, branches, and leaves and bound them together into a raft. And supported by the raft and making an effort with his hands and feet, he got safely across to the far shore. Then, when he has got across and had arrived at the far shore, he might think that this raft has been very helpful to me, since supported by it in making an effort with my hand and feet, because I spent so much, putting effort and do this, so I got safely across the far shore. Suppose I will hoist it on my head and load it on my shoulder, then go wherever I want. Now, because what do you think by doing so? Would that man be doing doing what should be done with that raft? No, Versa. It's just like, because I already, you get attached because I spend so much time, so I don't want to let go. I don't want to let go this, I carry with me. But then, you do not need that anymore because you already crossed, the other shore, you don't carry that with you. So by doing what would that man be doing, what should be done with that raft that Buddha asked here, bhikkhus. When that man got across and have arrived at the far shore, he might think this raft has been very helpful to me, since supported by it and making an effort with my hands and feet, I got safely across the far shore. Suppose I will haul it onto the dry land or set it adrift in the water and then go wherever I want. You just drag it, haul it onto the dry land and just drift it, in the water. Then wherever I want. Now, because it is by so doing that men would be doing what should be done with that raft. So I have shown you how the Dhamma is similar to a raft, being the purpose of crossing over, not for the purpose of grasping. It's not for the purpose of holding on, holding on to that. And because when you know the Dhamma be similar to a raft, and you should abandon even the teaching, how much more so things contrary to the teaching, then you say, how come why I want to abandon the Dhamma? Actually, it's more referred to like an arahant, because for them, they already finished what needs to be done. But someone is not yet. So you still have to walk the path, you still have to practice, you still have to restrain, you still have to keep the precept, you still have to do that because you are not there yet. It's just like you're in the middle, crossing the shore, you're not yet there. And then you say, let go everything, I don't need to practice, let go of the Dhamma, then you will sink. The same thing, because for them, they're no longer needing it. Like for some people, some people practice certain things that they got attached to that. For example, I met someone, she attached to being kind. So then, actually it's okay to being kind. But when you attach to being kind, it's a suffering. Because she attached to being kind, she almost, go to someone like, knocking on people's door, can I help you? Even people said no, she almost force people, I come and help you. And then she come and then she complained to me like people being so ungrateful, I'm so helpful, I help this person and they're ungrateful. I said, this is not how you help people. I said, if people come to you asking for help, give it all you got. But you don't go and grab people, you don't go to knock on people, to come, I helped you, If people said no, you say, okay, because you want to feel good, you want to be kind, and you're forcing people that you let you help, I said, this is not how you help people. I said, it's nothing wrong that being kind, being helpful. But I said, the way you do it, you're almost forcing people that because of want to fulfill your own sense of self, that I'm a good person, I'm a kind person, only because of this just want to make yourself feel good, that I'm a helpful person, a kind person. Then you force people. Of course, people will not really, appreciative because they do not need the help. Just because because you need to feel good. And you're forcing people that I come and help you. Then I told her, I said, but of course, I said, if someone come up to you asking for help, you do your best. Give it all you got to help that person. But don't go and knock on people's door, ask, that I offer help, I want to help you. That's, I said it's okay being kind. But not to attach being kind, because you attach the identity. I'm a kind person. So I'm a kind person, I should help people. But sometimes people do not need your help. And she almost like forcing people to allow her to help. Then after that, she complained that people being very ungrateful. So this is it's okay. It's okay being kind, but you don't hold on to that. The same thing the Buddha is that, if like the Arahant, they finish their job. They don't have to, do the, because they're no longer coming back. But of course, those is not even, there's halfway, you're not there yet. Of course, you still have to do the practice. You still have to, restrain ourselves, keeping precepts, we still have to develop those qualities. We still have to do the practice, because we're gonna just let go, and then in the middle of the river, and you let go, you'll be sink, and then this is what is this is the Buddha said that that is where it's not for the purpose of holding on. Like for example, sometimes we hold on to our views and opinions. We think that we are right. And then when we talk about right view, it's not about right or wrong. Sometimes because of a sense of ego, we think that I'm doing the right thing. For example, if you're keeping precept, it's the right thing to do. It's a good thing to do. But if someone come and criticize you, humiliate you, then you think that you're stupid. Why you keep doing? And then you got very angry. You get very upset. And then that is become, we attach to our views that we are right. But it's okay. We don't take it personally, whatever people think of us. Because when we talk about right view, actually it's right in the context that leads you to freedom, leads you to happiness. It's not more suffering. But because you get upset, yes, you are doing the right thing. It's a good thing to do. But then you hold on to it. I'm right. How come you criticize me? And then we got very angry and upset with that person. Then it's become like attached to our views. Then it's no longer, it's become wrong views. So now come to the standpoints for views. This is about the views, okay? And because there are these 6 standpoints for views. What are these 6? Here, because an untaught ordinary person who has no regard for noble ones and is unskilled and undisciplined in their Dharma, who has no regard for true men and unskilled and undisciplined in their Dharma, regards material form thus. This is referred to someone not even attained like first stage of enlightenment. It's just like ordinary people that haven't reached that the first stage, second stage, and the third stage, and the final, the fully enlightenment. Someone is not enlightened yet, not even a first stage of enlightenment. So there were regards material form tests, like the material form, not only our body, like the things, the things that we think that we own it. This is mine, and this is my car, and this is my family, and this is my, even my country is still mine, and this is mine. This is I am. This is myself. He regards perception thus, like the form, our body as me and mine. So, and then the regards the perception as this is mine, this is I am, this is myself. He regards formations. This is mine, the mental formation is I am, this is myself. He regards those what is seen and heard, sense, cognized, encounter, sought, mentally pondered. This is mine. this I am, this is myself, and this standpoint for views, namely that which is the self is the world. After that, I shall be permanent, everlasting, eternal, not subject to change. I shall endure as long as eternity. These two, he regards this is mine, this is I am. So that is this is the sense of self. Like we take this body like this is me and mine. So this is the Buddha called this identity view. So sometimes when the Buddha talk about non-self, people say, where's non-self? I'm here. Actually, non-self means that we identify whatever experience, our feelings, our perceptions, what we see, we always identify in terms as this is me. Whatever we experience, we in terms of this is me, like my experience. This is how I feel. This is me. It belongs to me. We think that we own it. This is we have the ownership. We think that we own it, but we can't own it because this thing come and go, isn't it? Any feelings, even our perception, we always change. Sometimes one moment we think this way, maybe next moment we change our perception again. I remember when I was young. Then when I heard people, they're 20 years old, 30 years old, it's very old. Then as I grow older, then my perception of what is old changed. Until 60 years old, 60 years old is still a spring chicken, and my perception changed, And this is how, sometimes I find that we change our perception to suit us, isn't it? We have this selective, what makes us feel good, we have this selective, we change our perception. So that is, and if that is a self, it will everlasting, it won't change. But that's when it's changed, people get upset because they want it, like, for example, whatever we experience, pleasant feelings, we want it to stay there forever, but it's not going to stay forever. That's just, like the Buddha's mentioned in one of the suttas. He said that you cannot set that is something. You can see the passing away of things. Whatever it come and go, isn't it? And then it won't stay there forever. Even the most wonderful experience is still end. And then you cannot set that is nothing because you can see the arising of things. You can see the arising of it. But you cannot set that is nothing, isn't it? But you cannot set that is something. But you see the ending, the passing away of things. It's this thing that is just constantly arising, passing away. But the problem is we try to own it. We identify ourselves with all those. Even sometimes, like people identify with all the experiences. Like, for example, they go through depression, they identify depression. I am depressed. Then they think that they should live up to depression. If they don't live up to depression, it's no longer me. This is how we're all grasping. Everything is me and mine. We take it to be me and mine. So if that is me and mine, it will be everlasting, isn't it? But no, it's come and go. Like the Buddha said, you cannot say that is something. You see the passing away of things. You cannot see that is. You cannot see that is. Something, you cannot see that is nothing. You can see the passing away, and you cannot see that is something. But you cannot see that is nothing because you see the passing away of things, and then you cannot see that is something that you see the passing away, and you cannot see that is something. You can see that. You say, I also get big sum. You see the passing away of you can see the arising of things. But you cannot say that is nothing because that is the things arises, things arising. But you cannot see that is something, and you can see the passing away. So that is nothing is permanent. It's always arising, passing away, And they said this is how we live. We happiness ends, suffering comes. And then when the suffering ends, we feel very happy. Isn't it? No, we don't no longer having the pain. Then after that, when the pain, when the happiness stops, we have the pain. Then when the pain comes, we suffer. And then when the pain stops, we're happy again. So this is how we live constantly with that, So they say, because a well-taught noble disciple, someone, well-taught noble disciple who regard for noble ones and is skilled and disciplined in the Dharma, and has regard for true men is skilled and disciplined in the Dharma, regards material form. This means someone already have the attainment, someone like a stream winners, because stream winners, they see non-self, or once returner or Arahant, that they see that they don't take this as a me and mine, So there's like a well-taught noble disciples means that those who attain first stage enlightenment, second stage, and the third stage, and the fully enlightened. This is referred to those who have attainment. And who has regard the true man and is skilled and disciplined in the Dharma, regards material form thus, this is not mine. This I am not, this is not myself. He regards feelings thus, this is not mine. This I am not, this is not myself. He regards perception, this is not mine. This I'm not, this is not myself. He regards formation thus, this is not mine. And this I'm not, this not myself. He regards what is seen, heard, sensed, cognized, encountered, thought, mentally pointed thus, this is not mine. This I'm not, this is not myself. And this standpoint for views, namely, that which is the self is the verb. After death I shall be permanent, everlasting, eternal, not subject to change. I shall endure as long as eternal. These two regard thus, this is not mine. This I am not, this is not myself. So he won't take it personally. We will not identify this is as me and mine. So that someone have no identity view. This is how we constantly label ourselves with whatever we experience. Even with the things also that we see, also we claim that this is me and mine. Since he regards them thus, he's not agitated about what is non-existent. Because we get agitated, isn't it? We get upset, we get agitated when we cannot process it. Like, for example, pleasant feelings gone. We said it's gone. We want to keep it, but we can't keep it. And then when unpleasant feelings, we try to control, we try to make it go away faster, but we can't. Then we got agitated, because this is non-self. This doesn't belong to us. We cannot control them. If that is a self, if it belongs to us, if that is a self, we can control. We can control, okay, this is pleasant feelings, stay. Unpleasant feelings, don't stay. Because we cannot. Then we got agitated because of the non-existent. So this comes to agitation. When this was said, a certain bhikkhus asked the Blessed One, Venerable Sir, can there be agitation about what is non-existent externally, something that is outside us? There can be, the Blessed One said. Here, because some things that, alas, I had it. Alas, I have it no longer. Alas, may I have it. Alas, I do not get it. Like things like, alas, I get it. Then after that, I'm no longer having it. How may I have this? And then things that you wish to have, you can't get it. Then his sorrow, because you can't get what you want. Sometimes things that you don't want, you get it, also you suffer, because this is not what you want, isn't it? Sometimes, like the Buddha says, sometimes we have to associate with the people that we don't like, we also suffer. Sometimes we have to separate from the one we like, all the things that we want to have, we also suffer. So then he sorrows, grief, and laments, and he weeps, beating his breast and becomes distraught, and that is how there is agitation about what is non-existent externally. So we can't get what we want, we suffer, And even sometimes we get what we want, but it won't stay, and we lose it. I'm no longer having it. So we suffer. So, remember, sir, can there be no agitation about what is non-existent? Like you will not agitate you, even though you have it or you don't have it. It's fine, you won't get agitated. So the Blessed One replied, there can be, bhikkhu. The Blessed One said, here, because someone does not think that, alas, I had it. Alas, I have it no longer. Alas, may I have it. Alas, I do not get it. Then he does not sorrow, grieve, and lament. He does not weep, beating his breast, and becomes distraught, And that is how there is no agitation about what is non-existent, because he don't take it to be me and mine. We don't take it personal. Okay, yes, it's okay, fine, we get it, okay, fine. Like, for example, some people, they like to be liked. And then when they try to please everyone, they want to be liked, And then if someone is okay, that, if I have someone liking me, I just take it as a bonus. Like if I get it, it's just a bonus. I don't get it, it's fine, That you wouldn't get agitated. But if you think that this is mine, I have to have it, then actually we suffer when we don't get it. Even we get it also sometimes, we cannot hold on, isn't it? Then also, even things that we would like to have it, when we have it, and eventually we still lose it, because we're not going to stay there forever. Then also we got agitated because we take it to be me and mine. We can keep it as, we are the owner. We have the ownership. This is my possession. I possess my possession. So then, because we don't take this as, we don't own it, we don't own anything, so it's okay, I have it, fine, I don't have it, it's fine, so it will not, we don't suffer, so we don't get agitated, the Buddha said. So, Venerable Sir, can there be agitation about what is non-existent internally? This is internally, there can be, because the Blessed One said, here because someone has the views that which is the self is the world. After that, death I shall be permanent, everlasting, eternal, not subject to change. I shall endure as long as eternity. He hears the Tathagatas or the disciples of the Tathagatas teaching the Dhamma for the elimination of all standpoint, decision, obsession, adherence, and underlying tendency, for the stealing of all formation, for the relinquishing of all attachment, for the destruction of craving, dispassion, for cessation, for Nibbana. So he thinks that I shall be annihilated and I shall perish, so I shall be no more. Then he sorrows, grieves, lament, he weeps, spitting his breast, and become distraught. And is how there is agitation, but there is non-existent internally. For example, I no longer feel no feelings and losing. I remember, that non-existing. Then it's very scary. I remember someone have the experience of like they don't feel the body, losing the body. And then this, I don't want to attend Nibbana because I don't want to attend Nibbana. I still want to come back. Then this person stopped meditating, don't want to meditate because she didn't want to disappear. She want to be here. And then, because all your formation, when you're someone in jhana, when then everything stopped, all the mental formations, feel everything stops, becomes still. And then to some people, it's very scary, because then you no longer me and mine, you no longer exist, That is something is really, to some people, it's a scary thing. They said, and then this person stopped meditating. And also she converted to Christian. Then after 3 years being a Christian, she come back to Buddhism again. Sometimes, yeah. And Venerable Sir, can there be no agitation about what is non-existent internally? Okay, this is what he said. Then there is no. This is just not the agitation. This is no agitation. There can be because the Blessed One said here, because some does not have the views that this is the self. They don't have this, no longer having the sense of self. As long as we have the sense of self, we try to own it, we try to keep it, we try to think that we have it, and we are the center of the universe. We are the world. Everything is just evolved around us. Everything has to fit into what we want. That is because we ourselves is the whole world. And then that which itself is the world. I shall endure as long as eternity. He hears the Tathagata, or disciples of the Tathagata teaching the Dhamma for the eliminations of all standpoints, decisions, obsessions, adherences and underlying tendencies, for stilling all formations, for the relinquishing of all attachment, for the destruction of craving, for dispassion, for cessation, for nibbana. He does not think that I shall be annihilated, so I shall perish, I shall be no more. Then does not sorrow, grieve, and lament. And he does not weep, beating his breast, and become distraught. And that is how there is no agitation about that is non-existent. That is a nibbana. That's why I realize many people think that nibbana is a place. For them, it's a very scary thing, not the coming back, nothing. Some people, oh, no, I still want to come back. Because some people think that nibbana is a place that they stay there forever, happy ever after, bliss out all the time. No, nibbana means, it's just like the flame. When the oil lamp, no more oil, no more fuel, there is no coming back. Then you're not coming back because, you have done all the work and you have no longer no karma, no max, you don't come back anymore. Then the flame go away, saying, oh God, nothing. Sometimes even I still hear people talk about praying to the Buddha, then I was thinking the Buddha is not there. And sometimes it really surprised me, people like be practicing many years, they're still talking about the Buddha like God, I was thinking, I don't know how they've been practicing all these years, they still take Buddha as a God, The Buddha is not the God, you cannot pray to the Buddha. Even though we bow to the statue, it doesn't mean that He's here. We just respect, just remember like our teachers, our loved ones, isn't it? We remember that, we venerate, we just have that gratitude, appreciation to us, the qualities of our teacher, we respect in that way. It's not that he's here to receive our, veneration, That's why sometimes, people think that Nibbana is a place. Nibbana is no. That's why sometimes to some people it's a very scary thing. They said this lady, she said, then I told her, I said, don't worry, you won't attend Nibbana. Since you still want to come back, you think you can, you don't see non-self, isn't it? And then people think that's so easy just because of she had the experience of like losing her body disappearing. So actually, even attaining jhana is still not attainment yet, but you need to have that temporarily. When you're in jhana, you temporarily suppress your 5 hindrances, then you'll be able to see things as they truly are. Because when the 5 hindrances is there, whatever we see, we perceive, so we are not perceiving things as they truly are. You need that, but then jhana is not attainment, not yet. You come out again, and depends if some people, the 5 hindrances, even the in jhana, if the in jhana too quick, they go in and very fast, they won't stay long and they come out. And then very quickly when they come out, the 5 hindrances become active again. Then I told her, don't worry, since you want to come back, still you want to have children, you won't attend Nibbana, don't worry. So this is impermanent and not self. So this is in the Alagaddūpama Sutta. So this is a famous one that asks about whether it is a permanent, this is a self, So this is a 22. Because you may well acquire that possessions that is permanent, everlasting, eternal, not subject to change, and that might endure as long as eternity. But do you see any such possession? Because no, Venerable Sir. Good, because I too do not see any possession that is permanent, everlasting, eternal, no subject to change, and that might endure as long eternity. So this is impermanent, nothing stays forever. It's forever changing, subject to change. Because you may well cling to that doctrine of selves that would not arouse sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair in one who clings to it. But do you see any such doctrine of self? Because no, Venerable Sir. Good, because I too do not see any doctrine of self that would not arouse sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair in one who clings to it. We cling on, this is permanent, it is impermanent, but we cling to it, then we ended up, we will suffer. Because you may well take as a support that views that would not arouse sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair in one who takes it as a support. But do you see any such supports or views? Because no, Venerable Sir. Good, because I too do not see any support of views that would not arouse sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair in one who takes it as a support. Because they are being a self. Would there be for me what belongs to a self? Yes, Venerable Sir. Or there being what belongs to a self, would there be for me a self? Yes, Venerable Sir. Because since a self and what belongs to a self are not apprehended as true and established, then the standpoint for views, namely, that this is the self, is the world, after that I shall be permanent, everlasting, eternal, not subject to change, I endure as long as as eternity, it would not be an utterly and completely foolish teaching. What else could it be, Venerable, but an utterly, completely foolish teaching? So that's why he said that because if it's a self, you can make it stay, you can control, it become permanently, it will not change. But because it keeps changing, it's impermanent, that's why that is not a self. Because what do you think? Is material form permanent or impermanent? So even the material form, it's all impermanent, isn't it? Our body, even things, things wear out, even the car won't last forever, nothing, everything subject to, that they will deteriorate, the arising and passing away, they won't stay forever. So is material form permanent or impermanent? Impermanent, Venerable Sir. So what is impermanent? Suffering or happiness? So he says suffering because it's impermanent. That's why we suffer because we want it to be permanent, to be eternal. It's not going to happen. Suffering, Venerable Sir. So what is impermanent suffering and subject to change fit to be regarded? This is mine. This I am. This is myself. No, Venerable Sir. So what things subject to change? So is it this is myself? Does it belong to you? Is there is a self? No, because it's subject to change. Because if there is a self, thing will not change. It will be permanently the same. Not going to change. But because it's changed, so there is no self. There is not a self. Because what do you think? Is feeling? Is perception? Are formations? Is consciousness permanent or impermanent? Impermanent, Venerable Sir. So what is impermanent? Suffering or happiness? So suffering, Venerable Sir. So what is impermanent? Suffering and subject to change, fit to be regarded that this is me, this is I am, this is myself? No. So is it things subject to change, subject to suffering, impermanent, there is a suffering, and it's impermanent. So do you regard this as myself? They said, no, Venerable Sir, it's not a self. Therefore, because any kind of material form, whatever, whether past, future, or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, all material form should be seen as it actually is with proper wisdom. This is not mine. This is not I am. This is not myself. Any kind of feelings, whatever, any kind of perception, whatever, any kind of formations, whatever, any kind of consciousness, whatever, whether past, future, or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, all consciousness should be seen as it's actually with its proper wisdom. And this is not me, this is not mine, I am not, this is not myself. So because we tend to identify, trying to own whatever things that we see, whatever things that we experience, even the perceptions, our feelings, whatever, a view, we take it to this is my views, this is me, this is mine. So this is how that's why if someone see non-self, they understand, they have the understanding, and then they don't have the identity views, they don't take this as a me and mine. So they just know that, okay, this is something that it doesn't belong to me, that is not mine, and this is I'm not, and this is not myself. Since Thus, because a well-taught noble disciple becomes disenchanted with material form, disenchanted with feelings, disenchanted with perception, disenchanted with formation, disenchanted with consciousness. Being disenchanted, he becomes dispassionate. Through dispassionate his mind, liberation, when he liberates, this comes a knowledge, is liberated. He understands birth is destroyed. Holy life has been lived. What had to be done has been done, and there is no more coming to any state of being. This is when someone seeing non-self. So when the first stage of enlightenment, that's why the three lower factors that you see non-self. You don't take this, it's me and mine, anymore, because they have the right understanding. They see non-self. So as long as we can't see non-self, we still keep coming back, because we still want to be back. The craving to be, we want to be, back again. So that's why it's only when you see that it's no more identity views, no more, like the three lower factors have the three meanings, so that they're no more they don't have the identity views, they see non-self, and they do not, when they said they do not, attach to ritual or even precepts, because they don't have this view that, only, if I perform this ritual, then I can get enlightened. Or I only just, be able to just keep the precept, I will get enlightened. So this is wrong views, and then they have the complete faith. They have no doubt anymore. They have the complete faith in the Dharma. Because sometimes we always have doubt whether it's true, whether it's not, So they overcome this, they already eliminate the three lower factors. And then now they talk about the Arahant. Those is already, there's fully enlightened. Because these speakers is called one whose crossbar has been lifted, whose trance has been filled in, whose pillar has been uprooted, one who has no board, and a noble one whose banner is lowered, whose burden is lowered and is unfettered. So like it means like there no more house to live in, because we are always building house to live in. This is me and mine. So it's more like you live out no more crossbar. That means a house, no more house to live in. Because this is how we always build the sense of self. We try to live in. This is a house, and this is how they said no more sense of self. And how is a bhikkhus one whose crossbar has been lifted? Here, the bhikkhus has abandoned ignorance. That is because when someone has the wisdom, you be able to see non-self. That's why they have abandoned ignorance, has cut it off at the root, make it like a palm stump, done away with it, so that it's no longer subject to future arising. So when you uproot it, because sometimes you don't uproot the whole thing, it sprouts out again, isn't it? And it's like, it finished the job, it's no longer arising, no longer future birth. No longer subject to future arising. That is how the bhikkhus is one whose crossbar has been lifted. That someone is fully enlightened, no longer coming back, has done all the work. And how is the bhikkhus one whose trench has been filled in? Here the bhikkhus has abandoned the round of birds and brings renewed being, has cut it off at the root. So that is no longer subject to future arising. That is how the bhikkhus is one whose trench has been filled in. This is also mean he tried to explain in another way that is a fully enlightened, no more coming back, no more, no more rebirth. And how is the bhikkhus whose pillars has been uprooted? Here the bhikkhus has abandoned craving, because we want to be reborn. The craving is already cut off, because craving to be, that is a three asavas, that is a three outflow, that is our desires, then desires to bhava asanas, you still want to come back, we still want to craving to be, we want to be reborn, craving to be so. And then the avijja asava, that is the outflow of the ignorance. Because of ignorance, that's why we have the craving. We want these desires, we want to come back. Because we don't see things as actually are. We're unable to see that this is all come and go, We're unable to see that because you think that I want to exist, I still want to come back. Maybe next time I will do it better. This time maybe not so good. I come back next time, I will do it better. Because the sense of self, you still want to come back. So that's why it's cut off a road. That is how the bhikkhus is one whose pillars has been uprooted. And how is a bhikkhus one who has no bought, and here bhikkhus have abandoned the 5 lower factors. The 5 lower factors, that is the first 3 is overcome doubt and the no identity views, doubt, and also not attached to rags and riches. And then the 5 lower factors is that no longer the desires is not there, and then ill will. These 2, that's the 5 lower factors. So if someone overcome 5 lower factors, that is at least anagami, because they're no longer, then they were reborn in the pure abode. Then from there, they're still anagami. They are not coming back. From there, they will attain fully enlightenment. So that's why when if eliminate the 5 lower factors, then you're no longer coming back. So and how is a bhikkhu's noble one whose banner is lower, whose burden is lower, who is unfettered? And here bhikkhu has abandoned the concept I am, because with anagami they still have the very subtle sense of self is still there. That's like, But if arahant, that sense of self, the concept is not there. But then with the anagami, they still reborn. They were reborn, but in the pure abode, they're not coming to the lower realm, that is in there. From there, the already, once you already enter into the stream, the path, then actually stream winners, that is definitely you'll be enlightened. It's just a matter of time, That's why this one he talked about. That one is an anagami, the third stage of enlightenment. Now he's talking about this one like completely don't have the conceit, don't have the sense of self. That is arahant. So how is a bhikkhu a noble one whose banner is lower, whose burden is lower, and who is unfettered? Here bhikkhu has abandoned the concept I am, and has cut it off at the root, so that is no longer subject to future arising. And it's how the bhikkhu is a noble one whose banner is lower, whose burden is lower, and who is unfettered. That is what someone fully enlightened. Bhikkhus, when the gods and the Indras, with Brahma and with Pajapati, a bhikkhus who is thus liberate in mind, that do not find any of which they could say the consciousness of one thus gone is supported by this. What is that? One thus gone, I said, is untraceable here and now. That means you arahant, you nibbana, no more trace. You can't trace it, There is not exist, nothing left. That's why it's very scary to many people when you said nothing left, not coming back. It's very scary because you used to attach, isn't it? You have the something, they have the sense of self that's no more. And then you come to the misrepresentations of the Tathagatas. So saying bhikkhus, proclaiming I have been baselessly, vainly, falsely, and wrongly misrepresented by some recluses and the Brahmins. Thus, the recluse Gautama is one who leads astray. He teaches annihilation and destruction and the exterminations of an existing being. As I am not, I do not proclaim. Because of some people, annihilation, that means, okay, there is no karma, nothing, that's it. Finish this life, that's it. Actually, when the Buddha talked about non-self, it doesn't mean annihilation. Because some people understand that they thought, okay, no karma, okay, that's it. This life finished, there's annihilation. This is not what Buddhas mean. That's why sometimes people ask those questions about non-self. Sometimes the Buddha do not answer that, because the Buddha know whatever he answered when he said yes, non-self, they will think that they will understand, they misrepresent the Buddha. They think that, okay, yes, that is annihilation. Actually, annihilation is different from non-self. They think that that means no karma. Finish this life, there's no karma. And then when you say, you can't say yes or no. Sometimes the questions that they said the Buddha sometimes silent, because whatever the Buddha gives, because the Buddhas know, whatever he said, because the person they don't understand, they will misrepresent what the Buddha said. So, and because both formerly and now, what I teach is suffering and cessation of suffering. So, of others' abuse, revere, scolds, and harass the Tathagata for that. The Tathagata on that account feels no annoyance, bitterness, or dejection of the heart. And if others honor, respect, revere, and venerate the Tathagata for that, the Tathagata on that account feel no delights, joy or elations of the heart, or others honor, respect, revere, and venerate the Tathagata for that, the Tathagata on that account thinks, oh, they perform such service as this for me, in regard to which earlier was fully understood. So it's like someone don't have the sense of self, the ego. Sometimes, whether you've been scolded, whatever you said, it doesn't bother him. Like, for example, someone have big ego, you get hurt very easily. Oh, you said this about me, you feel hurt. But someone have no sense of self, it's just like, whatever you can say. And even being praised, you don't feel elated, but even, you're such a wonderful, okay, fine, whatever, people can do whatever to you when you don't have the sense of self. It doesn't matter whether people respect you or not respect you, honor or not honor, or that praise you, that because the sense of self is not there. There's sometimes when the sense of self, the bigger the ego, the easier you get hurt, isn't it? They talk about me. You become so sensitive, that this person hurt me. Oh, I feel hurt. So this is what the person said. If you don't have the sense of self, you don't have the concept I am. Whatever people said, it will not bother you at all. Of course, if your sense of self is smaller, you suffer less. The bigger the sense of self, you suffer more. So therefore, because if others abuse, revere, scold, and harass you on that account, should not entertain any annoyance, bitterness, or dejection of the heart. And if others honor, respect, revere, and venerate you on that account, you should not entertain any delight, joy, or elation of the heart. Of others honor, respect, revere, and venerate you on that account, you should think that they perform such service as this for us in regard to this which earlier was fully understood. And this is come to not yours. This is not yours. So therefore, because whatever is not yours, abandon it. Because it's not, you don't own it. So the Buddha said, abandon it. When you have abandoned it, that will lead you to welfare and happiness for a long time. That means for your own benefit and happiness for a long time. So what is that? It's not yours. Material form is not yours. Our body is not yours because we cannot control. We cannot say, I'm going to stay young forever. We will still get sick, we will still grow old. And nowadays with all the technology, people try to keep young, and then with all the plastic surgery, they want to look young. But you still, the appearance outside look young, but inside all the parts is also got lifespan, isn't it? Got used by date, It's still, you can't, no matter how hard people try, it's still, that is not, even the body is not ours, isn't it? Is it not yours? Even the body is not ours, because we cannot control. We cannot say, let my body be stay young forever. Let me not to die. It's like, it can't. Even we cannot control body not to get sick, isn't it? If we can say, may my body not get sick, we cannot. That's why the Buddha said that is not yours. That's why That's why the Buddha said, and then feelings is not yours, We also cannot control our feelings, isn't it? And it's not yours, so abandon it. When you have abandoned it, that will lead you to welfare and happiness for a long time. Perception is not yours because we don't own it, so we abandon it. Things that doesn't belong to you, like the Buddha said, you abandon it because we don't own it. Perception is not yours, abandon it. And when you have abandoned it, it will lead you to welfare and happiness for a long time. Formations are not yours. Abandon them. When you have abandoned them, they will lead you will lead to your welfare and happiness for a long time. Consciousness is not yours. Abandon it. When you have abandoned it, that will lead you to welfare and happiness for a long time. Because what do you think? If people carry off the grass, sticks, branches, and the leaves in the jeta grove, or burn them, or did what they like with them, would you think people are carrying us off with burning us, or carrying us off, or burning us, or doing what they like with us? No one, Sir. Why not? Because there is neither ourselves nor what belongs to ourselves. So too, whatever is not yours, abandon it. For example, even your garden, all the trees is not yours also. It's just basically say that is also not yours. If people come and take your, whatever do with the garden, destroy the gardens, and that is not yours also anyway, the Buddha said, and the Buddha, but because we can't, isn't it? My garden, how come you come and do, takes everything from me, this is me and mine, So that means it is still not enlightened yet, because we really can't say, you can do whatever, in my garden, you can take whatever you can. It definitely, for unenlightened people, we can't do that, We cannot just say, not myself, allow people to do whatever they want to do. So too, because whatever is not yours, abandon it. When you have abandoned it, they will lead you to welfare and happiness for a long time. What is it that is not yours? Material form is not yours. Again, is repeat again. Material form is not yours. Feeling is not yours. Perception is not yours. Formation are not yours. Consciousness is not yours. Abandon it. When you have abandoned it, that will lead you to welfare and happiness for a long time. So this is until the paragraph 42. Because the Dharma well proclaimed by me, thus is clear, open, evidence, and free of patchwork. They said free of patchwork, that means that already, no more fixing, no more patching, done. Like, this, the Dharma I've taught, that is open, is clear, that no more fixing, that's finished, no more patchwork, you don't have to patch. So in the Dharma, when it is well proclaimed by me thus, which is clear, open evidence and free of patchwork, there is no future round for manifestation in the case of those bhikkhus who are arahants with taints destroyed, who have lived the holy life, done what had to be done, laid down the burden, reached their own goal, destroyed the factors of being, not coming back, not the factors of, that we've been bound to the craving to be born again. There is the destroy of the factors of being, and are completely liberated through final knowledge. Because the Dhamma is well proclaimed by me, thus is clear, free of patchwork. In the Dhamma well proclaimed by me, thus which is clear, free of patchwork, those bhikkhus who have abandoned the 5 lower factors, as I just mentioned, the 5 lower factors, are all due to reappear spontaneously in the pure abode. That is a stream, that is anagami, the third stage of enlightenment. And then they attain final nibbana without ever return from that world. Because the Dhamma well proclaimed by me, thus is clear, free of patchwork. In the Dhamma well proclaimed by me, thus which is clear, free of patchwork, those bhikkhus who have abandoned 3 factors and attenuated last hate delusions, and all once returner, returning ones to this world and make an end. So like those once returner that only come back once, and then that won't come back again. So because the Dhamma well proclaimed by me, thus is clear, free of passion. In the Dharma well proclaimed by me, thus which is free of passion. Those bhikkhus that have abandoned three lower fetters are all stream winners, no longer subject to petitions, bound for deliverance, and hated for enlightenment. That someone no longer, rebirth in the lower realm. That always, at least, from they won't go to, they will not rebirth in the lower realm. They're always at least human beings and above, and eventually they will also get fully enlightened. So because the Dharma well proclaimed by me, thus is clear, free of passion. In the Dharma well proclaimed by me, thus which is clear, free of passion. Those bhikkhus who are Dharma followers, faith followers, are all hated for enlightenment. Some people, we talk about the Dharma followers. Some people, they're more skeptical, okay? That some people have lots of faith in the teaching, in the Dharma. And some people know that they have to study the Dharma and they put into the practice. They really benefit, And for me, I personally, I'm not the faith follower. I'm always very skeptical of things. I have to truly make sure that I have put into practice. I really, make sure that, I'm not someone that, whatever you say, that must be true. Lots of faith follow. Some people have very strong faith in the teaching, But to me, I do have faith, but not that kind of just very strong faith. But to me, I still have to, still somewhat skeptical. I have to try out, I have to check out whether it's true, And they said this is a Dharma follower or faith follower are all hated for enlightenment. So, and because the Dharma well proclaimed by me, thus is clear, open evidence, and free of patchwork. In the Dharma well proclaimed by me, thus which is clear, open evidence, and free of patchwork. Those who have sufficient faith in me, sufficient love for me, all hated for heaven. So at least you do the work, you have the faith, and then you do the practice, and then like the Buddha said, when you have a very strong inclinations, doing good, being a good person, being a virtuous person, live a good life, definitely the Buddha said you'll be reborn in a good place because of the qualities of your mind. And that is what the Blessed One said. The bhikkhus were satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's words. So the end of these very long suttas. Okay. Yeah. You say there's a question? No.
Oh, it's okay? Ajahn Hasapanna? Very good sutta. Yeah. You started the sutta by saying that the desire brings suffering. Don't you think that's a very strong statement? Desire brings suffering. I remember when I first started Buddhism.
No, actually here he's mentioned more of the sensual desires, because not all desires will bring suffering. So sometimes that, for example, if we have done desires, we can't eat, we can't go toilet, we can't, that he actually is more specifically you indulge in sensory pleasure.
Actually,
that is at the first starting, because this person said, if I mindfully, like indulge in the sensory pleasure, I will not get attached to it.
Actually, my question is more towards sensual desire.
There is more sensual desire.
Yeah.
It's not. Actually, sometimes we do have to have desires. When Ananda told the person, first of all, you have to have the desires to get rid of all the desires, isn't it? You have the desire. For example, you're coming here, you have to have the desires to come here. It's not that There's sometimes people have this misunderstanding, misrepresent what the Buddha meant, then, of course, if you have no desire, when you're hungry, you have desire to eat. Not all desires or not all thinking will have the you have the consequences of karma. You know, like for example, you're hungry, you need to eat. There's no karma. You know, there's lots of people have this misunderstanding. Oh, I shouldn't have any desire. I shouldn't think. You know, not all thinking is bad. You know, then they stop thinking. I don't think. It's not like that. This is how sometimes people misunderstand, misrepresent what the Buddha trying to teach. You know, actually, he's only said that the sensual desires, that this is cause you more suffering. You know, that they give you little the Buddha said it's only give you very little gratification. Yes, you feel happy, but afterwards, so what? Yeah.
Actually, you know, essential desire. I'm trying to say, good. You pointed out. Yeah, when I first started Buddhism, okay, I read desire, sensual desire, brings suffering. I was young then, you know, and you're telling me that desire or sensual desire brings suffering. It's a no for me. I'm young. I'm full of all this thing, you know. So just one moment. I went to the library. I look at the books, you know. 20 books, I remember. You know, the time there's no internet at the back. I said, oh, desire. Look, desire brings suffering. That's not good. The next one, all desire brings suffering. Up till one book, I think it's by friend Bahinda. It is not desire, you know. It is the craving that brings suffering, you know. You know, that's more towards my other things. Then I read also in the scripture, the Buddha said, you know, if you have desire, it's suffering. If you don't have the desire, it's also suffering. So that as a lay person, you know, it gives me way to accept the desire brings suffering, you know. You see, when the Buddha gives the sutta, he's also talking to the bhikkhunis, monks and nuns, not to lay people. So we are lay people, you know. We, you know, monks and nuns, they are celebrated, it's okay. We still have that sensual desire.
Who said monks and nuns have no sensual desire?
So don't you think we should slowly cut it down?
Because, you know, sometimes people, this doesn't mean that you all day, you shave your hair, you change your, and then overnight you change. You still, that only the starting, you know, you still are still human beings, you still have to do the work. It's not that, if that's so easy, all you need to do is just shave your hair, change your okay, you change a new me. No, the same old you still the same old you, like you from a lay people become a nuns, you don't change overnight, you still the same old you.
Yeah. I just have so if you are on low level, just coming in, sensual desire brings suffering, they'll run away, man. Come on, you know. You're telling me, you know. So it's a slowly. You slowly let go to your higher level. Then you can see it more clearly.
Actually, the Buddha also give another teaching. He said it's a gradual training.
Gradual training.
It's not overnight.
Yes, not overnight.
We all got enlightened.
Yes,
you know?
yeah.
No, it's a gradual.
It's a gradual training, not overnight. That's why when you say, like some people, you know, desire brings suffering for me. I say, no, I'm young, you know, I'm full of this sensual desire.
Yeah.
You know, not.
That's why the Buddhas also hesitate when he got enlightened, whether he going to teach, because, you know, you tell the words, you know, do things opposite. People might think, oh, you're crazy, what are you teaching, you know. That's why he also hesitate. Am I going to teach this? Because this is something like go against the stream, in the world, people, you know. And then that's it. That's like then when the Mahaprabhupachati that tell the Brahma come and tell him that it's okay, because there are some people that can understand your teaching. There's some people have little dust in the eyes. So all of you have little dust in the eyes. So you can understand. You get it. Because it's very difficult. I can understand. Even the Buddha hesitate. It's very difficult for people to accept that. You know, because he teaching everything is the opposite way what people do in the world. But at the same time, we also just have to start with where we at. So it's a gradual training. It's not going to change overnight, you know. So it's not all monks and I have no sensual desire.
Thank you for the nice sutta.
And then this is one question. I know this is wrong view, but I'm not able to overcome. I feel more stressed when there is more work pressure. I break sila. I tend to use harsh speech and feel I should not work. No, it's okay. This is one of the things that, you know, that because it's just now we talk about the gradual training. So it doesn't mean that, that you cannot overcome each time. We just have to forgive ourselves, forgive our mistake. Like the Friday night talk when I said that I said something horrible to someone. Actually, I noticed that I shouldn't have said that. But then I forgive myself, It's no point beating oneself up that, But then I do my best. I try to restrain myself not to do it. So each time you just forgive yourself and keep trying, that because they said the Buddha don't encourage us to carry the guilt and beat oneself up. Always forgive ourselves. If we are perfect, we are not here. No more reborn. You don't come here. They say sometimes people come to me like, I still have defilements, I still have anger. Then I look at the person. I said, what do you expect? I said, unless you're anagami also not here. That's why I said, of course you have anger. But I said, if you come to me and tell me that, I'm perfect, I have no defilements, I tell you, I really worry about you. Isn't it? It's absolutely deluded. You think that you're okay, no defilements. Like the Buddha said, a fool know that he's a fool, he's still wise to that extent. If a fool think that he's wise, he's indeed a fool. Isn't it? That's why sometimes I said, don't worry. As long if you see your own defilements, I said, you're still like this person, at least you're still wise to that extent. At least you know that, you're aware of that, So, it's not to worry. And then you don't have to stop working, stop your work, because you still have to earn your living to live, isn't it? It's not let go, don't work, live in present moment awareness. The food don't drop from the sky to feed you. You still have to, you still have to look after your body, Like this is sometimes like how people understand the Dhamma. Sometimes also I just speechless. Sometimes how people understand. Like sometimes people still think the Buddha is God, asking things from the Buddha. Then I was thinking, the Buddha is not here to fulfill your wishes. They are not God. It's not here. But then it's also very scary for people when you tell them Nibbana, nothing, no more, not coming back, because a lot of people like to write there, transfer merit to my loved one, wish them to attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. They think that they bliss out, in Nibbana. Nibbana actually, the fire extinguished, no more, finish. There's no more there. But then actually it's very scary to many people. That's like, until you reach that level, you be able to see non-self, then it's different. But because you haven't got the wisdom, it's okay. We just keep going. The Buddha said, you just keep going. Not to worry about that. Okay, I think I will answer this. Any more questions or comments? Okay, one more.
A joke.
Maybe I think this gentleman in front. Okay.
Ajahn, I was just wondering, can you distinguish the three words, like what is perception, formation, and consciousness?
Okay.
Thank you.
Perception is like, like for example, like when how we perceive things. Sometimes how we perceive things also come from our previous experience, like because of our conditioning. So how we perceive things. For example, give you some example, like those elephants, like when they were young, they tie to the stick and then they can't move. So this is they have the preconceived perception, thinking that they cannot move until when they grow very big, they don't move because that is already have the perception that this is how it is, but actually it's not. It's only how we perceive things. How we perceive things is according to some of our experiences. Like for example, like 10 people look at the same thing, they have 10 perceptions. Like for example, some people, they have the experience of being bitten by a dog or whatever. They see dog, they run away, Some people, they like the dog. That is different. This is how you perceive things, your perception. But that's why we cannot trust our perception. Because our perception is always perverted by our likes and dislikes. Things that we like, we have the perception that, this is good, I like it, And then this is our perception. So this is, for example, we have a perception of that person because of the previous experience with that person. So we have a certain views, perception of the person, how the person is. But then if then sometimes we attach to our perception how the person is, actually the person also might change. The person will not be always like that, isn't it? But then our perception is still there because of based on previous experience, but not really perceiving as they truly are. We are not perceived because our perception is always, perverted by our likes and dislikes. We like it, we don't like it. So we are not perceiving things as they truly are. So that's why sometimes we cannot trust our perception. So for example, someone said to me, long time I haven't seen this person, and then this person still haven't changed, still like this, Then I asked the person, I said, so have your perception towards that person have changed? Because if your perception, you have a perception of the person like this, because you hold on to that. Even the person has changed, you don't see it. Because it's perverted to your likes and dislikes, because of your past experience. So what we perceive is not what you truly, the things that we perceive is not what the things that truly are. Unless we don't have the 5 hindrances, is there? Then we can see things as they truly are. This is how we perceive things. Like those elephants, they have this. He after he grow up, actually the small little stick he can walk away, but then he already. They call it the premature cognition. They say they recognize, this is what it is. But then there is things that is not true. It's our perception. It's always perverted by our likes and dislikes because of our conditioning, how we condition. Like for example, in some places, like that believe that they are very strong because they've been brought up in condition, been told that they develop that perception. So you get that perception. So after that, you said mental formation. Mental formation is our mental object. We think about it, and then when things happen, then we remember this happened again. This is your mind, all the thinking about the things, all your memories and things like that, and that's all gone into and develop the views, Then they go to the stream of consciousness. So you're conscious about the consciousness arises, that when the object is there. For example, our eyes consciousness, you have to have the eye and the object contact. So if you have the eye space, if you don't have the object, consciousness will not arise. Consciousness is the knowing is there. So then this is the mental formation is all our thinking, our proliferation, our projections, in the mind. That is we call it is more like a mental object. So that mental object is there. Then the consciousness, then you're conscious about the mental object, all the storyline in your mind, and then you're conscious of that, and that you carry this consciousness with you. There's some people when they go to next life, is that they go into the stream of consciousness, and then next life they have a certain same habitual pattern. Like some people, like for example, some people they have the children, like they raise up in the same family, but they're completely different. They have that they bring with them, This is the kind of habit, all your habit, how you view things, all gone into the stream of consciousness. And then that's the consciousness is take you to the next life. There's some people you see that they're just born, even though they've never been taught like that, but then you don't know why. Some people also said to me, they said, like for example, I know someone, she have these very strong anxieties. So each time, and then she said that, actually, since this person young also is also already like that. But they say, my family is okay. There's no conditioning. My family haven't, I haven't been abused. I haven't been, but it's just there. So is that answer your questions? Okay. So last question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ajahn Hasapanna, this is just a joke.
Okay.
Yeah, it actually happened here in Perth, In Perth here, about 20 years ago. Yeah, one night, at about 10:30 p.m., I heard this phone call from this person, This person, he said, Eddie, I just gained enlightenment. He told me he just get. I said, oh, good on you. Oh, no. I said, how come? Oh, yeah, it's true. All these things, I just gained enlightenment. So I said, well, good on you, this thing, isn't it?
Yeah, there's there is one of the saying, those enlightened will not say they're enlightened. Those that said they're enlightened, they're definitely not enlightened. It's true, because when you're enlightened, you don't have the sense of self. You see, even during Buddha's time, people can't even recognize the Buddha because he's so humble. He's like, don't have sense of self. He don't feel like I'm so special because I'm the Buddha. I'm special. He won't, He just like ordinary people. Those people really enlightened. They're very humble. They won't try to tell. I know someone that they do a retreat in Jhana Grove, and then they have some experience then confirmed by Ajahn Brahm is Jhana. Wow, the whole world knows she attained Jhana. Like the Buddha said, normally you keep quiet, isn't it? You don't tell the whole world. That means your sense of self, you want the whole world know, And that's why it's those really enlightened will not tell people that they're enlightened. Okay, thank you for listening. It's a long sutta. Okay.